Welcome to The Prize Inside. The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
All right. Welcome everybody. It's changing time today. I have some fun stuff planned tonight. When my beautiful youngest daughter is turning 17 today. So I was like, man, instead of waiting, I might do a family game night, whatever she wants to do. It'll be pretty fun. But I thought we'd get it done right now instead of worrying about the rest, like doing it tonight. So welcome to Whole Health Weekly. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Remember, I do this every Wednesday. This is the episode where we kind of cover the latest trends. I have an interesting one I came across today that it was an article. There's a guy, he's kind of like a neurologist I kind of follow, but he's kind of clunky to follow. But he said something interesting in an article. It wasn't anything major, but I'm going to check it out and see what this is. It's mastic gum. So we're going to check that out together. With that, we do the trends of the week to see, what are some of these trends? And are they good for the innate intelligence of the human body? So what we want to do is look at all these holistic and health things that actually promote the cells of your body to live their best life, right? And that is what we call innate intelligence. And so we'll go through all the different things. Sometimes health trends don't necessarily lead to your innate intelligence working properly, right? And so we have to be mindful of what we get thrown at us in all the social media stuff. So that's where we at. The first things first, if you're on or if you watch this later, because you're used to me being on at like 8:30 at night, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, heart, whatever you're on Rumble. It's called The Prize Inside a Chiropractor's Journey. YouTube, The Prize Inside a Chiropractor's Journey. Also, get on our newsletter, Tribe1, trib1.substack.com. It's a free newsletter where any article or thing that we go over will have, we create a little newsletter out of a transcript to kind of send that to you. So you have that information when we talk about herbs and all those things. Also, remember on Sunday night, we just got done. Oh man, what did I do? Oh, we did nervines. So the herbal category of what a nervine is. So Sunday at 8:30, we did that, and that was pretty fun. And that had a lot of information in it. Different, there's 3 different types of nervines. So it's just a place. I always hope you're gonna come away with better information to take care of yourself in a time when we have high thought toxin, or we have high stress in our thoughts. We have toxins that we got to kind of get through in the world. And, you got all these different traumas, right? Of, just physical trauma from sitting all day to, to some mental things and all those things. It hits you all the time. One of the things that I always thought was fascinating, and it's true, Rachel and I went on a mission trip almost 27 years ago. So Rachel and I did a chiropractic mission trip to Haiti. And one of the things that was profound about this, there's a lot of profoundness. It was, we were able to adjust people. We had lines of people. It was amazing to adjust that many people that early in our chiropractic career. But one of the things that always stood out to me is I felt like as poor as Haiti was, I felt like they were less stressed than the general American. and from there, that really was profound in the sense of, the day-to-day operations of like things that are thrown at you in rapid pace, like just information after information, the high mental stress that was there, and I bring that up because, it's not to say that, the poor, it wasn't super sad. It was, they didn't have a lot of those great, resources that are available to, us as general, people of America. But one of the things they did was they ate. They had to find a way to eat. They get their kids into the best school they possibly could. And then because some of them were so poor, that was it. And they were enjoying their family. They were doing a lot of things that you wouldn't think, this one place would be so, as happy as they actually were. We thought we'd go into this major depression all the time because they don't have. And I think we've done it to ourselves. We put so much, pressure upon, all the living ways that, we cause our own stuff. So I've always said like that was always interesting. And so my hope is that this podcast will bring, each day we kind of improve how we live. It would be fantastic. So with that said, let's go look at the trends of the week. According to, as much as I can, like get as many updated ones. I saw one that was interesting, and we'll look right at it. All right. So, and a couple of them, because we do this every week. There's a few that we went over last week that I get to skip today, but this one is cannabis terpenes for pain relief. And this is it's a new thing. It's Science Daily is the article. Okay. So science found a cannabis compound that relieves pain without the high. Compounds responsible for the aroma of cannabis and many other plants may offer a surprising new way of relieve chronic pain. Researchers found that several cannabis-derived terpenes significantly reduced pain in mouse models for fibromyalgia and post-surgical pain. Remember, this is in mouse, right? So with one terpene, one of the terpenes called geraniol, that's GERANIOL, showing especially strong effects. Unlike THC, which is usually the compound that creates the high, these compounds are not associated with psychoactive effects, making them a potentially attractive alternative for pain treatment. Let's see. I did that part. So that's interesting that there's an actual other piece. So I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on this. Okay, so let's go over this. So cannabis terpenes. All right, terpenes are a natural compound responsible for the scent and flavor of many plants, not just cannabis. So terpenes are in a lot of different plants. In cannabis, they contribute to the plant's distinctive aroma and may also have medicinal properties. Speaking of this, let me make sure I get this research. This research was from the University of Arizona, Office of Research and Partnerships. So that's where this came from. And the Science Daily also. Where are we at? Okay. Unlike THC, terpenes do not produce unwanted psychoactive effects commonly associated with cannabis. That makes an appealing area of research for scientists searching for new pain treatments. For this study, research examined the four terpenes, the geraniol, linol, and beta-caryophyllene. And then in the mouse models of fibromyalgia and postoperative pain, all four compounds produced substantial pain relieving effects. And this geraniol was the one that did the strongest results. And then the other four were in there. So there could be some new hopes for fibromyalgia treatment. So as we look at this, it's a new study. So it's one of those that, there'll probably be more, studies as we go. That would be helpful because in the world of cannabis, I can't say I'm the biggest fan. Because of the sense of what happens to you psychologically can really, really, and the way we smoke it, right? So because I'm such a gut microbiome fan, I have a hard time. I really believe, and I don't have any studies to prove this, but I really believe that I think that the smoking of marijuana with no filter on it, like a cigarette does, the smoking of that will mess up your gut microbiome pretty significantly. I've seen it in the lack of natural. So what happens when you hurt your gut microbiome? When you hurt your gut microbiome, you start not being able to digest food. So let's say if you eat the most delicious food, most high quality calories available, right? What if you're not able to digest those? So then your body's getting this food, but it can't digest them because the gut microbiome, the bacteria are there to help you break down the foods that you have. Okay. So it's to break down the foods that we put in our body to break it into things that your body can use. Okay. And so the gut microbiome to me is more important than something like that where you're smoking it. And the other thing is like a lot of times it's a very powerful mind alterer. Okay. So it does what it says. You can be in a nice state of relaxation, whatever it does for the certain person. I've noticed there's three things. Some people have no effect. Some people have the relaxation, what everybody goes for. And I could be wrong on this too. And then there's the third one is, you're like seeing demons or something. So a lot of times some people you become super more anxious than you do anxious, like it relaxes that. One of the problems with that is always like, I think of alcohol. People start drinking alcohol for the stress reduction. People smoke cigarettes for the stress reduction, right? And all of these things are not necessarily the greatest thing you can possibly do for your health and whole. We know that, right? We have people in our lives that, started drinking to relieve whatever stress they were going under, and it became this habitual thing. I think that's happening in marijuana. I'm not going to just blast it out of the market because there are some good herbal qualities to it. We just have to understand. Once people understand, I don't know if you could say it's addictive. I don't know if it doesn't, maybe it does for some though. It is addictive for some. And especially if it makes you feel good or sleep or something, it's going to have that effect. So this new process, this terpenes, could be something to look for. So because right now it's what CBD oil, right? CBD oil from the marijuana is a good way to go. But without the THC, it's not as effective in some of these pain relieving type things that the marijuana, the cannabis plant promotes and promises, right? But if you do CBD and THC together, a lot of times you get that pain relief. And so maybe this terpenes, where you can separate the plant, like out and then get these terpenes into, something, like a supplement or a cream or something, could be a major, major benefit. So that's the hardest part of marijuana. It's kind of like whiskey, I'm sure whiskey at some point, form or fashion, could be good for you once in a while. But, you do it 4 or 5 times a day. That's called a problem, right? So we just have to watch that as we go. But yeah, I thought that was a cool article, actually. So to see that they're still doing stuff on it. And then I saw another one. Oh, darn it. Okay. So that was the big one I saw on this week's situation that I thought was really good. Some of the social media stuff, over optimization is still a big thing in the social media things. What they mean by that is the amount of different biometrics that people are taking for their health and longevity. There's some great tools out there. In fact, this is a good time to tell you, I have a new one. I'm excited at the office. Nutritional blood work. We've had a way to do it prior, very clunky, but I tried a new system that we've worked with. So if you're ever interested, let me know. Just reach out, because this one I can do up to 20 different types of blood work analysis. And I literally just got the report today. I did myself to see how hard it would be. Really easy. Allows the patient to do a lot more, like, hey, I'd like this, like I'd like this. We are able to interpret it. We're able to use naturopathic doctors as well that kind of come in and interpret that data as well. So it's really cool. And then it hooks up to that full script aspect of what we got going. Because like all of us at the chiropractic, we always think you should probably, if I was living this holistic life, I would want, and I do, or I try to do it, you get like the testing that you want done. Now I've been out of the habit of doing it. I should do it all the time. So this was a good run for me. Do blood work, but then find out what vitamins, minerals, herbs, all those things that you would need to get that blood work to its ultimate goal, right? So you want to give the body what it can, and through blood work, a lot of times you can really see how your innate intelligence is responding to a lot of things. Testing is always one of those fantastic things. Now, with all these biometrics, like the smartwatches and what you can learn, what they're finding is like some people are almost consumed with checking everything, right, every day. They did a study when they first came up with the blood pressure cuff, like that you could take home. So remember, I mean, it's not been that long in technology where you weren't checking your blood pressure, at home, but they created at-home blood pressure cuffs, right? I maybe 30 years. Technology is not that old, but anyway. So the at-home blood pressure cuff, they said after it became like people were having it every day, there was people that were taking their blood pressure like 5 to 8 times a day. That's crazy. But it makes sense, because if you had a blood pressure problem, right, you'd be a little more anxious about that blood pressure problem. So you start taking your blood pressure on more of a regular basis, to see, how your blood pressure is doing. But the problem is anxiety, depression, losing hope on certain things. That's one thing that happens I worry about it a lot, and it has to happen in this condition, but people that have to check their sugar, a lot of times I worry about that anxiety and those kind of things, because they constantly are monitoring their sugar. And if that number is off in some way, shape, or form that they are not understanding, it can really cause you some major issues. So I was like, that was probably the sugar monitor was probably the first one that took really good hold. Now it's been probably a lifesaver for many, many people. The problem is don't let it control your life, right? Like, do the things, but some of these biometrics are literally causing anxiety for a lot of people. So just remember that. Try to balance, knowing, like, Rachel has a smartwatch. She doesn't wear it very often. She'll wear it, once in a great while. I will wear it when I'm running. So like if I run, we live on a country road, so that way I can know my distance. So I don't have to like mark off. Before, I'd always like, all right, I'm going to run 3 miles. So I drive my car, 1.5 miles, find out which tree it is, and then drive back. I don't know if that's weird. Probably people do that all the time, but but that's how I'd mark it. Now I just throw the watch on, and I go do the run, and it'll tell me right where, whatever distance I need to go, it's right there. So a lot of these are really cool tools. I would play with all of them. The biggest thing is just not letting it control like your life and get into that anxiety state, right? So that's the biggest thing. All right. I think, let me look at another one. Okay. So right now in gut health and gut health and traditional herbal protocols, there's some major interest in gut brain connections, which we kind of know, right? If our gut microbiome is correct, a lot of times our brain will have a better flow of good nutritional value. So a lot of times when people are taking good nutrition for your brain, you got to get the gut right first, right? And so that's a big thing. But there's this thing called the gut brain connection, right? So you have to have a good gut microbiome, that good digestion, or else your brain is going to interact, causing you situations. So if you ever heard the word hangry, hangry is a great example of that. You're hungry, but you're angry at the same time. And that happens because your body is literally wanting you to eat food, right? Or it's getting, or all the fake sugar that you've eaten, right, is telling you I need more of that fake sugar, right? And so that's one of the problems. Right now in social media, bile flow, bile is like from your liver and gallbladder, right? So it's like that system of having that bile to break down the fats and the meats and the toxins in our world. But a lot of natural remedies for digestion, immunity, skin, and hormones. So lots of different ones. Ooh, this is good. So there's a lot on dandelion root. Dandelion was one of my first podcasts when we started talking about herbals. So go back and look. We talked about the benefits of dandelion root, turmeric, ginger, berberine, all of those. Remember, berberine's one that can help with that. When you hear GLP-1, it's a very good digestive and sugar. It actually balances your sugar as well. Berberine has a lot of great effects to it. Kind of regulates that digestive system really well. Turmeric and ginger, they also have digestive qualities to them, but they're more known for their anti-inflammatory, situation, but they can be really good as well. I would say that's interesting. So this one's talking about, and some of my people that have watched The Prize Inside know that the process of digestion is not just your gut. Okay. So we focus a lot on gut when, in fact, we should probably, I got to make sure I got this right. Oh, sweet. Okay, I'm good. I panicked there. And my audio recording for this podcast, I was like, did I put that on? The a lot of times the gut isn't the only part of the digestive process. Okay. And so a lot of times when we'll put somebody through a gut protocol, you look at the digestive system as a whole. So smell, taste, saliva, right? Throat, we go down, right? And then we have these different organs, kidneys, digestive juices. We have pancreas, gives off your insulin. You have your liver and your gallbladder, intestinal situation. We have all of these that all connect, right? And so we want to make sure we're looking at the gut microbiome is definitely a thing, but the wisdom of the past sometimes is some of the best wisdom out there. When I started getting into the gut microbiome, one of the things you can do for yourself to get everything ready is digestive bitters. So digestive bitters are a form of herb that stimulate the salivary glands, and it gets the digestive system kind of rolling prior to the food entering. So back in the old days, we would take these digestive bitters. I think in Italy, it was like this little alcohol drink, like a little shot. Some of you people use peppermint, those. I'm sorry, not the peppermint. Oh, I can't think of a good one. Digestive bitters. Hang on. What's the most? Because peppermint's a carminative. So common. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. So dandelion. So the most common one's called gentian root, dandelion root, artichoke leaf, burdock root, wormwood. These are all like digestive bitters. Okay. So these are all little things to get digestion going in the right direction. So it gets it all kickstarted prior to the food entering, so your body's ready for it. Okay. So bitters are a really cool, herbal thing to kind of experiment with. Try doing a digestive bitter prior to eating. I know it's not part of our process. The other one I like is digestive enzymes, but not digestive enzymes. So I like dang it, I'm having a papaya enzyme. So papaya helps stimulate your digestive enzymes, therefore allowing that to happen. So a lot of times when I have somebody with like big indigestion, those type of situations, I'll have them do bitters and then maybe some papaya enzyme, right? And I have all, like we get that stuff. It's pretty easy. And then have your meal, right? And then you can feel that digestion start happening. It's one way to kind of prepare your body for all those things. That's what we used to do. We used to prepare a lot of these things. That's why Italians still have this beautiful bitters that you do to get ready for the digestive, this big carbohydrate load dinner, spaghetti, all those cool Italian real gluten, like the real good stuff that they used to have, breads. How do you get your body getting ready for that digestion? Right now we have so many problems that we can't even eat the bread anymore. It's so sad, but we'll figure it out at some point, right? So with that said, that's what I would do in the digestive world. Just, as it's trending, it's cool, but understand that talk to your chiropractor, talk to me, talk to Rachel, like Dr. Matt and Dr. Emily, any of us in the process to get your health going in that right direction, especially in that category, because that one's fantastic. All right. So with that said, let us move to the awesome articles of the week from Dr. Mercola this week. So Dr. Mercola, if you've been with me before, it's an amazing website. I love going to it because it gives like daily new health and wellness. Dr. Mercola is a medical doctor, but he just happened to go into the holistic world and build one of the biggest online articles that he just grabs all this good information. So I use it constantly. Okay. So let's start with this one. This is a new article called "Your Liver May Be Starving for This One Nutrient." Okay. And this article is this is an analysis by Dr. Joseph Mercola. Okay. So this is the mitochondrial roots of fatty liver and the supporting role of choline. Okay. So we're going to talk, I think we went over this a little bit, but I want to hit it again because of the prevalence of fatty liver that's happening in our society currently. It's like kids are getting it. It's pretty bad. Okay. So let's start with, so fatty liver disease has become one of the most widespread chronic liver conditions, now affecting 47.8% of U.S. adults, yet it remains largely misunderstood. Emerging research reveals that fatty liver disease is not simply about fat buildup, but may also be linked to deeper mitochondrial dysfunction associated with toxic byproducts of seed oil type stuff like linoleic acid. So that's where we're at. So this stuff called, and we'll talk about it a little bit, choline plays a central role in supporting the process of replenishing membrane phospholipids that support fat export and mitochondrial resistance. All right. So choline, that's what I want you to hear, the word choline, okay? Your liver works like a factory, processing everything you eat and drink, filtering toxins, producing important compounds, and supporting digestion. But when too much fat builds up inside this factory, its operation begins to break down. That's the tough part. Fatty liver makes sense once you start understanding the physiology. This is what happens with fatty liver disease, which now affects a ton of people. Like 50% of US adults have something, making it one of the most common chronic liver conditions. Despite its prevalence, fatty liver disease remains poorly addressed because of its underlying mechanisms, have been oversimplified and misunderstood for decades. So that is true. Okay, so seed oils, Dr. Mercola, I think, believes that that is one of the key pieces. I would suggest from this article, it's all the toxins. I super believe one of the things that we don't talk about is the amount of the fake sugars, all the different fake sugar chemicals that we put in foods. I think that is really hard on a liver to digest and process. And because of that, you cause this problem to occur in there. Okay. And then makes sense that your body would produce a stress type fat to in the liver because it's working so hard. Okay. Okay. And so in fatty liver, think mitochondrial dysfunction. If this is happening to you, you have mitochondrial dysfunction. And when you have so remember, mitochondria are these little cell organelles, right? So they're little cell dudes like in your cells that create the energy of your body. They're called the powerhouse of the cell for a reason. So they're inside your cell are these little mitochondria. You don't want anything to happen to the battery of your car, right? We want to keep the mitochondria. If that energy is not coming out of there and this dysfunction happens, your battery of your car will short circuit, right? So it's the same thing in a mitochondria. So you got to think that way as far as it goes. Let me see. Okay, so choline. Let's talk about choline because that's mostly the important part of this. Fatty liver, it's happening. 50% of the population almost. How do we get out of it? Start eating better organic food. Get away from the deep fried oils that are causing this thing. Start using tallow, lard. A lot of different things can get you there in your cooking and everything else. But our big one is all that processed stuff has to make its way out of our diet, right? So what is choline? So choline is an essential nutrient that plays a pivotal role in liver function, mitochondrial performance, and membrane integrity. It was officially classified as essential by the Institute of Medicine in 1998 after growing evidence showed that the human body cannot synthesize enough of it to meet physiological demand, which means we need it, right? From our food or supplements. Most people fall short of optimal intake, especially during periods of increased metabolic stress, such as pregnancy, aging, or chronic illness. When the needs for choline intensify across multiple organ systems. So choline is absorbed in the gut and routed accordingly to the body's needs. It uses transport proteins. It's very, very good. The rest of this article, I don't think you need. Okay. All right. So where do we get our choline? That's the thing I want us to. So choline, it's CHOLINE. Yeah, I don't think you guys want to hear all this. It's really good, though. Choline is a big one. All right. So a lot of times just getting a choline supplement is worth it. So like getting any kind. Okay. So what are the most common? See, I love this because I learn just as much as you do. And we know what this is going to say, but I want to make sure. So here we go. So choline rich, the most rich choline foods: eggs, beef liver, chicken or turkey breast, salmon, ground pork. Okay, so in the plant resources are soybeans, edamame, wheat germ, shiitake mushrooms, quinoa, kidney and navy beans, and cruciferous vegetables are later down the road. Okay, so think of your getting this into our body. So especially choline, having eggs be up there is pretty awesome, actually, because a lot of times choline, because eggs is a nice form of protein. You get a ton of good benefits from it, especially your organic farm raised eggs. It's always amazing to me, like the difference between like the farm raised and like store. It's wild. Like the yolks are different, all those things. I'm thinking the store ones are still pretty good for you as far as like a protein rich source. So I would suggest, it's one of those things. Don't go, oh, I only do organic eggs. If you don't have a choice of that, let's say you live in a city that you don't have a farm stand down the road that, somebody's got chickens. Our chickens are almost big enough. They're almost big enough to start laying. I should have showed you the picture. I didn't know it could actually happen. So we have one chick. I don't know if I've told you the journey of this. So I have my little chicks free range and all over the place. This is last year. We have 6 last year. The kids name them. They're running around. I got this little, it's like this little cool harem of chickens. Every time I come outside, they come visit me and greet me. It's fantastic. They start producing like 6 a day because there's 6 chickens. We start being able to have like farm fresh chickens like right away, right? And so I'm like falling in love with this. And then we have the issue. It starts getting into fall. Everything's happening. My 6 chickens turned down to 4. And then we're down to 1. And then 2. Then we ended up with like 2 chickens left. And it was super frustrating because it was like, oh my God, we're losing chickens. So we believe, and I saw it, we have a fox that's really close. And we have a bunch of raccoons, like a few raccoons that have figured it out. So I've been trapping raccoons lately. A couple more, and I'll be done there. Not sure how I'm going to get this fox, the little sucker. Those things I've heard are very hard to catch. But our chickens are safe now. We're just we're making sure we bring them into the coop every single night. We're directing them in. Because before we could just kind of let them go and they just make their way to the coop at night. So that was really cool. But that choline is one of the reasons why you should do farm fresh eggs like as much as you possibly can because it's delicious. Okay. So I will stop, but that one's good. So remember, fatty liver needs that choline, right? So let's go after that. And because choline is a really good membrane and helps with mitochondrial function, probably worth the supplementation or whatever you got to do. Okay. All right. I like this one too. This 30-minute habit, because Rachel and I were just talking about this 30-minute habit that wakes up your immune system. Okay. So this one is this is by Dr. Mercola again. Sauna bathing can help you fight off infections faster. Here's why. A single sauna session raises your body temperature to a fever-like range, which activates your immune system and moves defensive cells into circulation where they can respond faster to infections. Your immune system reacts immediately during heat exposure. Uh-oh. I think Rachel's home. So you're going to hear a little barking. Hello, Rach. Okay. All right. Well, you might hear. So your immune system reacts immediately during heat exposure, with immune cells increasing right after a session and some staying elevated afterwards, giving you a short-term advantage against incoming pathogens. The benefit comes from reaching a there it is. There it is. So I know you guys enjoy the bark part. It's not anybody's fault. Hey, Rach. You're good. You didn't know I was doing. So I kind of shocked everybody on doing the podcast now, but it's going to be fun. We get to hang out with the kiddo for her birthday, so it'll be good. So the benefit comes from reaching a specific internal temperature, not just sitting in a hot room, which is why tracking your body temperature gives you more precise and effective results. Regular sauna use trains your immune system to respond more quickly over time, improving your baseline ability to detect and fight infections before they take hold. Heat works best when combined with strong foundational habits like proper nutrition and energy production, ensuring your immune system has both the signal and the fuel to respond effectively. So saunas are great. I think so. Rach and I were talking about it. We're probably going to get one and put it. So our house is kind of set up cool. I got a little barn that is all my workout stuff. And we created a barn. So we have like a cement floor, walls, all those kind of things. What we want to do is put a sauna on the outside of that, like an outdoor sauna. Two reasons why, especially in the cold environment, I would like to have that cold, feeling. Remember what we talked about with homeostasis. So homeostasis is the body's ability to be a thermostat, right? The body to go up and down. So you have a furnace when it's too cold, and you have an air conditioner when it's too hot. When you have that type of homeostasis where you're top down, right? You're going up and down, then you have a very healthy system. When we don't stress those, when we don't have the furnace or the AC turn on and off once in a while, then we have problems because that homeostasis difference, right, starts to shrink a little bit. And so your body isn't used to it. That's why I always tell people, get out in the heat, get out in the cold, and it's really, really good for you. Now, don't be crazy. And, you don't have to do all those kind of things. Like a lot of times the people were like really cold because there was a lot of controversy for some reason on ice baths. And I agree, sort of, but growing up in Michigan, I disagree with never doing it because it helps your homeostasis when your body has to go through that cold environment. Maybe the science isn't there on some of the other things, maybe, but I disagree with them strongly that it's not good for that. And one of the things I see is people get sicker when they don't stress the body. If you stayed in 72 degrees in your house the entire time, never got out and stressed that body in some shape or form, I guarantee you're not going to have as a good immune system function, a good innate system, the innate intelligence of the human body function until it got used to that new environment. It's all about that. It's all about stressing that body as well. And many countries have saunas like built into their house. You know what I mean? So my suggestion is maybe look into your own sauna at home, and especially for your more sick people, because if you get that heat, like they said, it allows that body to increase blood flow, increase the immune system presence, right? And if it helps with that, that can't be that bad, right? When do we get flus and sicknesses? It's in the winter time. And so wouldn't you want to do like getting into a sauna, allowing that sweat to kind of get out, detoxifying your body through the sweat as well. So I always think saunas are amazing. So I also think ice baths are amazing. Anything that kind of tests our homeostasis, I don't want you to become crazy with it, but if you can do like a 30-minute sauna and a 5-minute ice bath or cold shower. I was talking to somebody the other day. We're only like a generation removed from like cold shower or having a hot shower. Isn't that crazy? Like I was talking to a guy and he's probably my dad's age, that my grandfather's age might not have had a hot shower. That hasn't been that long ago that the shower was, now we have these hot showers. We sit in them for hours, of course, because it's really, really good. But think about that. On a hot summer day, you didn't get into a hot shower. You got into a cold shower. Maybe our actual skin temperature, our body temperature regulation system is messed up. And that's why, people stress out like when it's like, oh man, it's 90 degrees or, oh man, it's -2, right? It's kind of crazy when you're mental. I mean, people would work through that without the luxuries we have currently. So I thought that was a good article. So, okay. So remember saunas. And I really like this one. I think I'll end it here. I think this will be the last article tonight. So I appreciate you guys jumping on at like 4:30 instead of 8:30 though. This is awesome. This one's by Dr. Joseph Mercola again. So how krill oil eases osteoarthritis pain and boosts muscle strength in older adults. Krill oil is one of my favorites. One of the most, it's becoming like, it's like fish oil, but it's like a little better. It's got some more benefits, it seems. So krill oil improved knee pain, stiffness, and physical function in people with osteoarthritis, helping participants move more comfortably during daily activities like walking and climbing stairs. Older adults taking krill oil for 6 months improved grip strength, knee strength, and muscle thickness, which helps protect against falls, weakness, and loss of independence with age. Krill oil delivers omega-3 fats in a phospholipid form that blends efficiently into your cell membranes, while its natural astaxanthin content helps protect the oil from oxidation and inflammatory damage. Kind of like fish oil has some problems with like storage. So sometimes it'll oxidize. So doesn't have the benefits sometimes. So that's like older, like a high quality krill oil, high quality fish oil is a must. But it's also with fish oil that's become an issue because a lot of it's like the shelf life isn't great. Let's say it that way. And it gets oxidized. So cheap oxidized fish oil and diets high in seed oils worsen that situation. That's what happens when you oxidize it. So you got to take a really high quality fish oil. That's big. Just making sure that's good. Okay. So in bottom line, pairing krill oil or omega-3 rich seafood with regular movement, stable dietary fats, and enough protein creates a stronger foundation for preserving cartilage, muscle function, and long-term mobility. I'm really always interested in that. Being a chiropractor, working with joints constantly, I always want to find that next best, supplement for it. Krill oil seems to have a lot of the bells and whistles I've been looking for. Chondroitin and glucosamine, I've seen them work. Some people swear by them for like cartilage and joint function, but I think I really, really believe like bone broth, a lot of these things. One of the things we do in our gut microbiome is, you slow cook a chicken, but you keep the bone and everything in there, and then you get the quality of that cartilage. Even if you just do the broth, you're still getting the nutrients from there. So that's why I really like bone broth in a sense. Krill oil is my new one that I want to carry at the office. I think it would be fantastic to do, or do it through that full script so it doesn't get rancid, on the situation. They found in the krill oil, it doesn't get as rancid as fast, which is great. So, and it's got a lot of benefits. So remember that if you're having some joint problems, take a look at some krill oil. It's not the best tasting. Like got a little grandma that's like, all right, I'll do the fish oil thing. Makes me burp fish taste. I hate it. But she's been doing it for a really long time. But I always laugh because she's like, that's the worst. It's like wakes me up because I don't like the taste. So she's like, I know it's good for me though. So with that said, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Have a fantastic Wednesday. I know we will. I got to go pick the kid up from her tennis coaching that she's helping with these little kids. So that'll be good. And then we get to have a little celebration of her. So with that said, you guys have a great night. And I'll see you Sunday night on 1% Tribe, the Prize Inside, at 8:30, where we'll be talking about something. Either I think it's positive energy or condition. So it's one of those two because we just did a herb. So it'll be one of those two topics. And from there, I'll talk to you later. See ya.